Does your Scottish clan have confirmed Viking or Norse DNA? Now, a really interesting aspect of modern DNA research is that we can now compare the origin stories and the legends of clans to the actual DNA evidence, which can help to confirm or deny many of these origin stories. And many Scottish clans now have confirmed Norse DNA markers. So in this video, we'll go through 5 Scottish clans with confirmed Norse DNA, and some other clans with potential Norse lineages, and even a few that have some genetic twists. Now, the Viking impact in Scotland in general went far beyond raiding, as the Viking Age paved the way for longer-term settlement by Norse people. And this fusion of Norse and Gaelic culture gave rise to the fascinating Norse-Gaels, a people with a blend of Scandinavian and Gaelic culture and ancestry, with many clans growing out of this backdrop. And why DNA research can help us trace the origins of these paternal clan lines is why DNA markers are passed down the male line along with clan surnames, creating ancient links between the two that can be traced. This is especially the case when it comes to the Big Y700 DNA test from Family Tree DNA, as this gives people very detailed genetic results, known as SNPs or single nucleotide polymorphisms. Now, the first clan on the list is a very famous one, and one with a very strong Norse origin story, Clan Donald or MacDonald. The family traces its origins to Donal, grandson of Somerled, from whom the clan takes its name. Somerled was a powerful 12th century Norse Gaelic ruler who built a maritime lordship across Argyll and the Hebrides, laying the foundations for the later lordship of the Isles, ruled by Clan MacDonald. But does the DNA evidence help to confirm or deny this origin story? Well, it actually does. We know that core branches of the MacDonald clan, the chiefly lines, actually do belong to branches of the Norse-connected haplogroup R1aZ284, which is a marker heavily connected to the Vikings and the Norse, especially when it comes to Scotland. And as you can see from this map, it still peaks in Norway today. And this was the case down through history as well, with Norwegian Vikings having a major impact on Scotland, and then obviously Norway directly at different times, directly controlling Orkney and Shetland for a period, for instance. And when it comes to Clan Donald, we know the precise SNP connected to one of their core chief clan lineages, which is RFGC 11896. Now, this is downstream from the broader R1aZ284 that we just saw earlier, the map of, and is slightly downstream from another refined marker called RYP326. Now, this last marker itself is thought to have been carried by Somerled himself, or strongly connected to him and his descendants at least, showing he had a Norse paternal haplogroup. Now, many other clans also claim descent from Somerled, notably Clan MacDougall, MacAlister, and the late Clan MacRory. Others such as Clan MacIntyre also claim descent in some way. And we know that the DNA evidence does again show this link with Somerled for many of these clans. The SNP connected to Clan MacDougall, for instance, is RYP5543, which is again downstream from the Somerled marker RYP326, and then from the broader Norse haplogroup R1aZ284. And Clan MacAlister is connected to the same marker as Clan Donald, this marker called RFGC 11896. So when it comes to the clans claiming direct descent from Somerled, chiefly Clan Donald, MacDougall and MacAlister, the DNA evidence does largely confirm this Norse origin story, as core chiefly lineages of the clans do carry Norse haplogroups, which is pretty interesting. But what about other clans? Well, Clan MacLeod is another very famous one with a very strong Norse origin story. It traces itself to a 13th century founder named Laud, who is said to have been a close descendant of Olaf the Black, the Norse king of Man and the Isles. But does the DNA evidence support this Norse origin? Well, sort of, but is less clear-cut and more debatable than the Somerled clans. Now, when it comes to the MacLeods, they are strongly linked to the Y-DNA SNP R by 3210, which is downstream from the broader R1b DF27. And if you look at this map, you can see that the broad marker DF27 peaks in Iberia today. although it is also connected to the ancient Atlantic world in general. So, on face value, this would suggest that some of the core lineages of the MacLeods simply come from the ancient Atlantic world, with perhaps some Iberian or continental link in there. Yet if we look at the ancestral path between R1b-DF27 and the MacLeod SNP R/3210, it descends through an important marker called RL165. And if you look at this map of RL165, you can see that this marker is much more elevated in Norway than most other branches of DF27. In fact, according to Family Tree's database at least, it is actually more common in Norway today than in Spain or Portugal. And from a historical perspective, this marker has been strongly connected to the Viking and Norse influence around the Hebrides in Scotland. So, despite being descended from DF27, the path the MacLeod marker took was likely through Norway and Scandinavia, before entering Scotland. So although it's not quite as clear-cut as the Somerled branches, and it is more debatable, the MacLeods likely have confirmed Norse DNA as well. And this leads us nicely on to another clan that has a bit of a genetic twist, Clan MacNeil of Barra. Now, when it comes to their origin stories and their clan legends, they are very much Gaelic and Irish. They claim descent from Niall of the Nine Hostages and the O'Neill Kings of Ireland. But here's the genetic twist. Despite all the Irish links, the DNA of a key Barra chiefly line do not seem to carry the expected Irish Niall marker, which would be within RM222, which is still very high in Ireland today. Instead, a core MacNeil lineage appears to sit within R1b-L165, the same lineage associated with Norse Viking settlement in the Hebrides, and broadly shared with some lineages of Clan MacLeod that we just discussed. And other branches of Clan MacNeil actually belong to another Norse marker. One is known as the Piper MacNeils of Barra, one of these lines, who again belong to a Norse-connected haplogroup called RA10884, which is downstream from this broader Norse marker R1AZ284. So a few of the core lineages of this clan are actually more Norse than Gaelic. Yet I should note that other branches of the clan and connected families, such as branches in the lowlands as well as the Ulster MacNeils, tend to possess higher levels of this more Gaelic marker R1b-M222. Yet, overall, many of the MacNeil clan's core lineages are actually more Norse than Gaelic, which runs counter to many of their origin stories. But what about other clans? Well, the first 5 we went through there, we can say with a high degree of confidence have genuine Norse markers, especially the first 3, but even the last 2 as well, in part because there has been a good amount of research into the clan's DNA. In general though, not every clan has been mapped genetically in detail, meaning it can be difficult to identify with confidence particular clan SNPs outside of broad markers. With that being said though, there are some other clans I should mention, but keep in mind that the genetic research into these clans is still emerging. Now, Clan Gunn has a very strong Norse historical tradition. The name Gunn is linked to the Old Norse word or name Gunnar, meaning war. And their traditional ancestor was Gunny, said to have married Ranhild, a woman connected to the Norse Jarls of Orkney and the old rulers of Caithness. Their traditions also connect them to Sven Asleifsson, sometimes known as the ultimate Viking in some sagas. So given the clan's location, names, legends, and early political history, they all make Norse ancestry highly plausible. When it comes to their DNA, however, it is far from conclusive. No single SNP has been identified with confidence for the Gunn chiefly lines as of yet. However, looking at the family tree DNA group, they seem to mainly be a mixture of more Gaelic R1b lineages, like branches of L21, alongside others with more Scandinavian connections, like I1 and R1A, with some others mixed in as well. And this would actually make sense given their location, as Caithness was a region where Norse settlers and the native Pictish population lived side by side for centuries. So Clan Gunn is a likely candidate, but more research is needed to confirm this. Now, another fascinating clan worth mentioning is Clan Sinclair, which actually has a really interesting story that we'll go through just in a second. Now in general, as far as their origins, they're basically Anglo-Norman, with Normandy itself obviously settled by Scandinavian settlers of course. And their strongest direct Norse connection developed later, when Henry Sinclair was made Earl or Jarl of Orkney by King Haakon VI of Norway in 1379. Through their rule in Orkney and their later power in Caithness, the Sinclairs became closely associated with regions shaped by centuries of Norwegian settlement and Norse Gaelic culture. But what does the DNA evidence say about all this? Well, research from the University of Strathclyde has found that the SNP RFGC 15254 is the earliest identified marker distinct to the surname Sinclair, and is therefore connected to the clan. Now this SNP is actually downstream from RU106 or R1BU106, which is connected more to Germanic and Anglo-Saxon ancestry. Yet branches of U106 were also carried by mainly Danish Vikings and settlers as well. And this leads to a difficulty, as separating Norse and Germanic U106 lineages can be tricky, especially in Britain given the overlap. Now from looking at the ancestral path of this SNP, it is potentially a little more Germanic leaning. Also, we know that Norwegian Vikings and settlers had more of an impact on Scotland, whereas Danish Vikings had more of an impact on England with the Danelaw etc., with U106 carried more by Danes than Norwegians, given their proximity to Germany. Yet Danes played an important role in settling Normandy of course, so it could have come indirectly through the Normans. The Sinclairs also initially settled in England before coming to Scotland, so perhaps this could explain it as well. But overall, Sinclair is actually a really interesting case, but the answer isn't fully clear for now and shows the complexity in tracing all this. It is also only one marker, and the genetic research into Clan Sinclair is still emerging. So it will be interesting to follow this more in the future, and let me know your thoughts below. Now several other clans and septs have meaningful Norse connections and are worth mentioning, but the evidence is not strong enough to place them among the confirmed cases yet. The MacAskills, MacIvers, and Morrisons all preserve strong Norse names or traditions, and many wider clan members belong to more Scandinavian branches like I1 and R1A. Yet no clearly defined Norse marker has yet been confirmed yet for the chiefly lines of these clans with confidence. Some research also shows that Clan MacNaughton, which claims more Pictish origin, could contain one R1AZ284 line, yet more research is needed to confirm this. Clan Matheson also has a potential R1A lineage connected to relatives of a 16th century chief. And I should also mention that the DNA evidence for one of the key branches of the Macaulays of Lewis, who have many Norse connections, actually seem to have more Irish paternal origins. They are linked to a branch of R1BL21 called RFGC 29773, although other members have some general Norse markers as well. And you may also be saying, well, what about the Norman clans? Well, that's going to be the topic of another video. But what are the 7 oldest Scottish clan surnames ever recorded? Well, to find out, please click here. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and hit the bell, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.